For hundreds of years, Africa's business capitals were in Europe in London, Paris, Berlin, and Lisbon, etc. Despite decolonization, money still flows from Africa to European financial centers, but business headquarters have shifted geographically over the last decade. Not back to Africa, but to another former British colony, Dubai. There are now over 21,000 African enterprises in Dubai, which is part of the United Arab Emirates, UAE. According to data from the Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry, this figure has increased by more than a quarter since 2017. The emirate has also attracted 45 Middle East and Africa headquarters of multinational companies, compared to just 26 in Africa, according to a 2018 report by Infomineo, a data and research outsourcing provider specializing in Africa and the Middle East. Around the same time as the Arab Spring uprisings a decade ago, the amount of capital and number of businesses dealing with Africa began to rise. From 2011 onwards, there was a significant influx of Africans to Dubai. The Arab Spring actually increased interest in Dubai and the UAE from African countries. The city has grown over time to become one of the world's most prestigious and popular tourist destinations, attracting visitors from all walks of life. This is also true for many African tourists who choose Dubai as their primary vacation destination. The number of African tourists has increased from 6,954 in 1984 to 600,000 in 2016 and reached 810,000 in 2019. According to Dubai Tourism, representing approximately 6% of all visitors. Overall trade with Africa also surged, from 3% of Dubai's total trade at the turn of the century to 10% in 2018. The African continent has become the third largest trade region for Dubai after Asia and Europe, according to Dubai Customs. The Gulf City, which is on the other side of the Arabian Peninsula from Africa, did not set out to become a hub for African business. People in power in Africa, not the Dubai government, chose to do business in Dubai, but by capitalizing on its geographical location, the Gulf City has transformed into the business hub of the Middle East and Africa through laissez-faire policies, infrastructure, and aviation networks. The boom in Middle East and Africa firms setting up shop in Dubai has contributed, in part, to the emirate successfully weaning itself off reliance on oil revenues. Non-oil trade with Africa has grown by 700% over the past 15 years, surging from $33 billion in 2015 to $50 billion in 2019, according to the Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry. According to Infomineo, 6 regional headquarters are in the energy sector, 8 in financial services, 7 in motor vehicles and parts, and 5 in technology, followed by wholesalers, aerospace and defense companies, healthcare, and transportation. When we looked at where Fortune 500 decision-makers were based, almost half of total headquarters covering Middle East and Africa were in Dubai, more than triple the number of Johannesburg, South Africa, which was ranked second, followed by Nairobi, Kenya, Casablanca, Morocco, and Lagos, Nigeria. It did feel counterintuitive, as Dubai is not technically located in Africa. Dubai's aviation links, tourism infrastructure and ease of access have also been a big driver in making the emirate such a hub for African business. It is easier to go from Dubai to Africa than fly within Africa. And the ability to let people travel to Dubai freely is a big deal, compared to say London or New York, where there are multiple unnecessary barriers like the provision of bank statements to procure a visa just to attend a business meeting. Furthermore, some African countries, such as South Africa, another business hub, have strict visa regulations. This means that visiting can be a difficult experience. In contrast, the hospitality on display in Dubai conveys the message that Africans from all over the continent are welcome. Dubai has benefited from the fact that African business environments have massively improved in the last 20 years, but they are still not on par with the expectations of global companies, especially when it comes to international trade, such as double taxation agreements, work visas for expats, corporate laws, and tariffs. Lagos should, by definition, be Africa's business capital. Nigeria has the largest economy on the African continent. South Africa comes in second. Lagos, like Johannesburg, has been ranked as one of the world's worst cities to live in, and personal safety is a major issue. It is also difficult to attract top executives and their families to countries where, for most of them, education, healthcare and safety are not up to global standards. Thus Dubai is the business capital of Africa by default. Even though Dubai local population have regarded the emirate as Africa's business capital for over a decade, the pseudonym does not always sit well with Africans. Africa-UAE trade and business is expected to grow as the emirate seeks to strengthen ties with emerging markets. According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the UAE is the second largest country investor in Africa after China, investing $25.3 billion between 2014 and 2018, while the Abu Dhabi Fund for Development, the Emirates Foreign Aid Agency, has been the largest investor in 28 African countries, investing $16.6 billion, according to the Financial Times FDI intelligence. Other countries in the region are also eyeing up the opportunities. Africa is a central focus of the Gulf states due to COVID-19 and the need for economic recovery, with a focus on mining and green energy projects. There is a competition going on right now on the continent, according to many analysts. Israelis, too, are seeking business in Africa through Dubai, with consultancy firms in the emirate noting an uptick in contact from Israel since the recently signed Abraham Accords, normalization deals between Israel and several Arab states. This renewed interest in Africa is being bolstered by the African Continental Free Trade Area, which came into effect in January. It brings together 1.3 billion people in a $3.4 trillion economic bloc of 54 African countries. However, one disadvantage of locating in Dubai is that firms are geographically isolated from their target markets. There are many Africa headquarters in Dubai, but you can't get a sense of what's going on the ground because you're not in Nairobi or Ghana. With this in mind, the Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry has established 4 international offices in Africa over the last 7 years, in Ethiopia, Ghana, Mozambique, and Kenya. Another concern is that Dubai's growing role as a tax haven is hurting African nations. According to UK-based advocacy group the Tax Justice Network, Dubai is unquestionably one of the world's best-known secrecy jurisdictions, built on an increasingly complex array of offshore facilities that include free trade zones, a low-tax environment, multiple secrecy facilities and lax enforcement. Such policies enable the illicit flows of capital out of Africa to Dubai. The African continent is losing valuable revenues it needs through companies avoiding paying taxable income. It is definitely a problem. Dubai plays a key role as a tax haven, with the Dubai International Financial Center having the largest cluster of financial institutions anywhere in the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. Dubai has also been criticized for its role in the illicit gold trade, with blood gold smuggled from Africa to the emirate. Analysts said that Dubai has become an increasingly important hub over the past year for gold exports from Africa, while the emirate's low taxation rate continues to make it attractive to set up businesses for African as well as European firms, avoiding higher tax rates. The city's property market has also been identified as an ideal outlet for ill-gotten gains, such as for Nigeria's elite. Dubai is a key center for almost every crime, which makes it somewhat unique.